Hi, I'm Lena, booktuber, bookstore owner and classics lover, and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a book haul. I haven't done a book haul since July 2024 and now it is March 2025. So yes, I have 3 stacks of books right here, whilst also telling myself that now that I'm a bookshop owner, I definitely don't buy a lot of books anymore, which it's not true. We can erase that myth. I would like this to be an organized book haul, but that's not happening. I can start with books that I got because of my own bookshop. So I got them at my own bookshop because I saw the editions and I fell in love. One of those books is The Tales of the Mystery and Macabre by Elizabeth Gaskell. Elizabeth Gaskell's short stories are my favorite short stories of all time. I have not read all of them, so that's why I wanted this bind up in my own collection as well. I've read two. I have read The Old Nurse's Story and I've read The Grey Woman, which were 2 stories that I absolutely loved. Both gave them 5 stars, and this collection has more gothic tales. I also have other short stories by Elizabeth Gaskell, which is Cousin Phyllis, of which I've read them all, that collection. So good. So incredibly good. Yeah, but this one is for October. I'm pretty sure most people have seen this because that TikTok and reel got a lot of views somehow. But I got myself a Shakespeare collection. These aren't all of Shakespeare's collections. I mostly got the books that I don't already own in another edition. So we can start with the books that I have not read yet. The Tempest, gorgeous. Twelfth Night, Antony and Cleopatra, The Winter Still, King Lear, and then the ones that I have read, I have Othello right here, Romeo and Juliet, and the one that's on my March TBR is Much Ado About Nothing. And then of course the more famous ones like Hamlet and Macbeth I have in the Macmillan's collector's edition, so I didn't really feel like I needed duplicates of that one, but I am very happy with this collection. If you haven't seen these are the new covers by Wordsworth, so they're all very affordable and really beautiful. I have a few more of those. Another classic that I've not read yet, but I fell in love with the cover when I ordered it for the bookshop this Christmas. The Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. I've been getting into classics that use animals as main characters and writing from animals' perspectives. That mostly started with The Wind in the Willows, which I loved, and then I read Black Beauty, which was my favorite classic of last year. I also tried Watership Down, which I did not enjoy it as much. Here we have wolves and dogs. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to become a theme for me that I really enjoy. And then one of my favorite classics also got a new cover that I love so much, and that is The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. So I figured if I have such a beautiful edition in the shop, I might as well get it for myself. I am not someone who gets a lot of duplicates of books, only when they're really favorites. And then one that I also didn't have a collection of is the Christmas books by Charles Dickens. I have read a few of them already, like of course A Christmas Carol. Oh, I haven't read the other ones in this collection, just A Christmas Carol. Very glad to have this again for December for Christmas. Let's see, I think those were all the books that I got from my own bookshop, yes. Also, I want to do a little shout out to Simon because he wore this shirt in one of his videos and I fell in love. And I asked him where he got it. He got it from H&M and they still had it when he responded to my comments. So of course I ordered it. It is a men's shirt, but that just makes it kind of more comfortable, to be honest. It says I am a very interesting person online, which I think for someone who mainly discusses books online and not really in real life, I thought that was a great joke. Again, it is a joke. I am very excited to get into more classic fantasy, so I'm going to read Ursula K. Le Guin. This is an author that's been recommended to me multiple times and now I'm going to read it with some friends. This is The Left Hand of Darkness, and this is about 2 people journeying through the ice and their survival story. I think it's apocalyptic, which I don't usually love. I'm sure this will be a great experience now that I read more contemporary fantasy as well. Another book that I'm going to read with some others is Julia by Sandra Newman. I've showed you this book a lot, but this will be our Paws and Pages book club read February and March, so I'm going to read it very soon. And this is a play on 1984 by George Orwell. Let's see, I do have a few more classics. I think in January 2024, I read The Old Women by George Kissing because I did a vlog reading like a booktuber for Katie from Books and Things, and I knew that The Old Women was a book that she really loves. And I loved it as well. 5 stars, one of my favorite books of last year. So I figured I might as well order another book from George Kissing. And New Grub Street seems to be a very popular and famous book of his. I think it's more popular than The Old Women. It's quite a thick one, so I don't think I will get to this before Victober. This really seems like the kind of book I would like to read for October. This is about two writers who have a very different approach towards writing and who are very different people. As the fates of the two rivals become even more intertwined. I think I've said it before, I don't usually love it when main characters are writers. One of the things that I love most about The Old Women was the way that George Gissing wrote about working life. This should be an interesting perspective on that. I already mentioned this author Edith Wharton, but I got this beautiful edition of The Ghost Stories of Edith Wharton. I wanted the New York stories, but they didn't have that in this edition, so if they ever publish it, this beautiful edition, I will get it as well. I've not read any ghost stories by Edith Wharton, but I love Wharton's writing, especially her novels. Her short stories have been a little bit hit or miss for me, so again, this could be a great option for a more Halloweeny season. Like a lot of other booktubers, I do like to read from around the world. I'm not doing great at it of late. I would like to do better, so when I saw that one of my favorite new booktubers, I just discovered her channel, I will leave a photo of her channel right here. They made a journal, a reading passport. This says reading around the world, and you can order it from all over the world. It is made by Amazon. I couldn't order it on the British Amazon, but I did order it on the Dutch Amazons. I will just tag the creator and you can use their links because then they get a little bit extra money as well, I believe. But this is a very simple way of tracking your reading from all over the world. And what I love most is that there is a little flag that you can just draw in or put a sticker on, which I think is gonna be a lot of fun for me to do. I do have a map, I will put it on the screen, of all different countries I have read from, and every year that I've read from the first time. So I just track countries I read from the first time and I linked it to the year. Love to also have some notes of those books, which this will give you a little bit of space to write down some notes, so that when I do recommendation videos from books around the world, I can actually have a reference, which is very, very handy. So that's why I bought this. And one book I could read for it is a French classic called Claudine at School, written by Colette. If you've seen Colette the film with Keira Knightley, it's fascinating, and you can also see how complicated the writing of this book is, because Colette's husband took credit for the writing of these novels and he didn't force her to write the first, but then when the first was a success, he forced her to keep on pushing out sequels, even though that is not what she wanted to do. But because the first book is really, I feel like a book that she wrote with her heart, I'm very interested in reading it. And luckily we have the right name now on the cover. Yeah, I'm really interested, and of course this was written in France and it's translated by Antonia White. I don't think I have a lot of other books in this book haul that I could use for this. I do have one, I think that will be the first book for that journal, and that is Private Revolutions, Coming of Age in a New China. I just finished this. I'm going to talk about it in my Women's Prize vlog because it's part of the long list for non-fiction for the Women's Prize. I bought a few books for the non-fiction long list as well. Not all of them are here yet, and I'm sure once this goes up, the long list for the fiction has also been announced, and I will order a few of those as well. I usually try to balance it between ones that I want to listen on audio and ones that I want to read physically. Usually I would also read a few on my Kindle, but because I'm now a bookseller, that is usually more expensive for me than buying the physical book. So another one I have is Oudlin by Jenny Fagan. This is about growing up in the system. This is a memoir by an author who also writes fiction. She mainly writes, I think, fantasy and maybe some horror. By the Fire We Carry. This I got in paperback edition. This is about American history in the US, maybe also in Canada, but I think mostly in the US from the perspective of Native Americans. Then we have Raising Hare, which I got this beautiful hardback edition of. This is about a woman who finds a baby hare and decides to raise it. So those are the ones that have already come in, but I think one that I have in back order is one that's currently sold out in the Netherlands, so it's being reordered. And that is Why something with fish, Why Fish Don't Exist. And the other one I'm going to listen to an audiobook. Talking about beautiful books, this is definitely the most beautiful book I've bought so far in 2025. And that is Jane Austen's Bookshelf, Women Writers Who Shaped a Legend. And just for the cover alone, it's absolutely beautiful. But of course I want to read it because of the subject matter. I have put this one on my shop as well because I just think a lot of people would love to read this. I wanted to kind of read it right away, but then the long list of the non-fiction women prize was announced and I wanted to prioritize that. So once that is all behind us, I I will definitely be reading this. Okay, we were still talking about the books that I could use for this passport. So another one is a Christmas gift from the lovely Lucy, and that is a author we both really enjoy, and that's Clarice Lispector, who is a Brazilian author and who wrote in Portuguese. And this is The Imitation of the Rose, and I just love the mini penguins. Very, very beautiful. I'm assuming this will be some adventurous piece of modernist fiction. It's quite short, which I think all Clarice Lispector's works are, but thank you so much, Lucy. This was a really lovely gift. Talking about the mini classics, I also have Lolly Willows by Sylvia Townsend Warner. This is supposed to be about a woman who turns out to be a witch, but I don't think it's at all very fantastical. I always hear, I would say, vague and conflicted descriptions of this book that I don't really know what this is about, but I really do love this edition. Talking about Christmas gifts, Sarah got me, oh, adorable. This would also work for the reading passport for Finland or Sweden. This was translated by Kingsley Hart, and this is Moomin Valley in November, which I will clearly wait for until it's November to read it. I've read another Moomin book, the winter one, which I really loved, and it's just such a wonderful, familiar children's story. Familiar to me at least. And it has some really lovely illustrations, which I really enjoy, but mostly the cover has like a bit of a rough matte view, which I think is really, really nice. Absolutely adorable. Thank you so much, Sarah. Right, I will not spend too much time on these, but I got the special editions of Fourth Wing and Onyx Storm. I also want the one of Iron Flame, of course, but it's currently sold out. I am in no rush because I think I will reread these three when the new book in 2026, I believe, comes out. I think Rebecca Yarros is taking a bit of a break. Well deserved, may I add. I hope she takes all the time she wants. These are very, very nice. I was very glad that I was able to treat myself to these because I'm not really a special edition kind of girl. And there's just something special about these, especially because the special editions, that's a lot of the word special, aren't that much more expensive than the regular hardbacks. And if I know I will read a book, I generally get the hardback. Another fun thing I did, and I usually always do when I go to a bookshop, I don't really pick out specific books anymore because I know I can get them myself as a bookseller, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy like specific books at other bookstores. So I really love it when bookstores have more unique things, like a blind date with a book, or they have their own merch or merch from an artist I don't know yet. So when I was at my favorite bookstores, which is a really pretty bookstore, they had a blind date with a book, but you just got a bag with 2 surprise books, and they picked books that were published last year. So I'm assuming they just picked some books that they had left over from last year. I watched the movie of Argyle. This is, ooh, it's like a comedy mystery spy novel. I think it's gonna be really fun when I feel like it, but because I've seen the film, I do know the plot, so I don't know how much I will really get out of this, but it is a really nice edition of the book. Then a book I would really like to read is The Beholders, which is a historical fiction with a lot of mystery in it as well. I had it on my Libro FM ALC program wishlist, or I saved it, so I also have the audiobook, but I think it will be great to read it physically as well. And it's really nice if you have an audiobook you want to read to also have a physical book if you want to alternate between the two. So I was really happy with my surprise book bag, I want to say. No, I am not done yet. Can you believe it? Okay, here is a new collection of pocketbooks which look like this, and they are all based on a single author, and they have quizzes and puzzles in them. So because of the Thomas Hardy read-along I got both for me and for Mary, I got this one just to test them out. I felt like if I really like them, I can get them for the shop as well. This is what it looks like, and it says Thomas Hardy quizzes and puzzles, and it just thematically it has some questions. It has, I won't want to show you everything. It has some puzzles, and me and Mary thought we could do some of them in a set of Thomas Hardy reading sprints. I haven't really looked at it because then I can anticipate certain quizzes, certain questions, and then it won't be fair if we play it together. So I haven't really opened it. Yeah, if I really like it, I will probably get a few for the shop as well. A Wuthering Heights based novel. I'm not sure if it's Wuthering Heights based or Emily Bronte based, but that is 15 Wild Decembers, talking about this shirt and about Simon. I got this book on his recommendation by Karen Powell, based on the life of Emily Bronte and how very hard it was for her to leave home and what it did with her mental health. Knowing a bit about the Brontes as I do, of course, I know about that, so I'm really curious how this author merges this into, I think it's a collection of stories. It is fiction, I believe, so I'm really curious how this is done. I've been wanting to pick this up, but because the word December isn't there, I feel like I need to read it in December. I have the same with Moomin Valley in November. I don't know, but I feel like it's needed to read it in the month that is in the title. Am I crazy? Another gift I received is, I think this was a birthday gift from Mary. This is a collection. Okay, I hope I haven't moved too much. I had to change out my battery because I have so many books. Yes, I was talking to you about another gift I got from Mary. This is a collection of poems by a Portuguese fado singer. She is called Amelia Rodrigues. What I love about this collection is that there's one side Portuguese and one side English. Of course, the Portuguese will just be decoration for me, but maybe I can try and learn a few words. That could be fun. But this edition is so gorgeous. It has these beautiful illustrations, and again, this could be a good book for my passport. I will use the passport 2025 and going on. I'm not going to fill it with books that I have read before that. Although then I don't know if this will work, because I do think I've read from Portugal before. It's not really interesting, is it? And then the winner of the Booker Prize of 2024 is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. I was mostly interested in this because I don't think literary genre fiction like sci-fi or horror or thriller, anything like that, or comedy really get the recognition it deserves when it comes to prizes. And this is a sci-fi, so I was really curious to see why the Booker selected this and maybe why this book is the exception. Another literary genre fiction is I Who Have Never Known a Man, Jacqueline Harmon. I was very hesitant about this book because it sounds a little bit like The Handmaid's Tale. I don't really think I love it. I read it, I think in 2019, so it's very long ago since I read that. Should we read The Handmaid's Tale? But this felt quite similar, and I've seen a lot of people read this. Although I don't think it's a recent release. I think the translation might be recent because it's translated from the French by Rose Swartz. Yes, it's a book from 1995 and the introduction and copyright is from 2019. Oh, the translation is from 1997, but I guess it's reviewed again in 2019. So that's why people started reading it again all of a sudden. Not read this again for the passport. Watched over by guards, these women have no memory of how they got there. No notion of time and only vague recollections of their lives before. It sounds horrendous. I think I'll have a good time. I forgot. This one was also for the non-fiction prize. The women's list for the women's prize for non-fiction. That is Embers of the Hands. The Hidden History of the Viking Age. And again, got such a beautiful hardback with the gold foiling. To end this video, I got 3 romances. I always want a few of them to pick up whenever I really feel like it. This is the Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. That's an impossible word for me to say. By India Holton. I have read India Holton's first trilogy and this is her second romance trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy, yeah. And this is more set in academic circles. It should be really fun. The second book in a series that I kind of liked, didn't love, but I still felt like continuing it. It's A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Hawley. Yeah, I did really like the small town setting, which I'm not usually a fan of, but this is like really epic romance wise and still cutesy. So yeah, this should be good. And then one of my new favorite romance authors is Olivia Dade. And this is At First Sight. This seems to be one of her best reviewed romance novels. I think it's Love to Hate, which I can enjoy now and then. If you've seen some of my other videos recently, you know that I usually do a monthly romance read. Because if I read more romance, I can kind of get sick of it. But I want a romance like every month. Of these 3, this one is definitely highest on my list because I've been enjoying Olivia Dade so much. I think that is all the damage I have done in the past few months. I'm definitely planning to do more damage with all the prizes and the winners that are going on. I did see some interesting books on the international booker as well. So depending on that shortlist, I might get 1 or 2 of that list as well. But first I'm going to delve in the women's prize for the coming time. And it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited for that. If you want to follow me along on that journey, be sure to subscribe, because I'm planning to upload some updates and reviews of my reads. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day or evening, and I hope to see you in the next one. Doei!